Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We are reading from the book Sadhana Panchakam by Swami Dayananda Saraswati. It is a commentary on a set of 5 verses composed by Adi Shankaracharya, also referred to as Sadhana Panchakam. In these verses, Adi Shankaracharya is giving instructions to the spiritual seeker, the sadhaka. There are 8 instructions per verse, so the total of 40 instructions. We are currently in the middle of verse 3, so we will first chant verse 3, see its entire translation and then continue. Vakyarthascha vicharyatam shrutishirah pakshassamashriyatam dustarkatsu viramyatam shrutimatas tarkonusandhiyatam brahmasmiti vibhavyatam aharahar garvah परित्यज्यताम् देहेऽहं मतिरुज्यताम् बुधजनैर् वादः परित्यज्यताम्. May you analyze the meaning of the sentences of Vedanta, staying with the vision it presents. May you completely refrain from wrong logic. May you remember, follow and see the logic presented by Shruti. May you daily appreciate through contemplation the fact that, quote, I am indeed Brahman, unquote. May you not come under the sway of the ego. May you give up the notion that, quote, I am the body, unquote. May you completely cease from entering into arguments with wise people. So continuing, next section, need for contemplation. Brahmaivasmi vibhavyatam. May you appreciate through contemplation the fact, quote, I am indeed Brahman, unquote. This is nididhyasitavya, a fact to be contemplated upon. Contemplation is needed if Shravanam and Mananam themselves are not enough. They are enough if you have all the things necessary, like complete viveka, total vairagya, adequate shama, dama, uparama, titiksha, shraddha, samadhana, and also complete mumukshutvam. You are not interested in anything else. So if you remember, these are the so-called sadhana chatushtayam, the 4-fold qualifications of viveka, discrimination, vairagya, dispassion, mukshutvam, the desire for moksha, and then we saw the shatka sampattihi, the 6-fold accomplishments, which were shama, dama, uparama, titiksha, shraddha, and samadhana. Shama means quietness of mind, dama means control of sense organs, uparama means following your duties or being very much close to yourself, titiksha, forbearance, shraddha is complete trust pending verification, and samadhana, which is basically quietness of the mind or being in the contemplation. If all the inner qualifications are there, then you do not require anything else, only Shravanam. If Shravanam is not enough, then Mananam will do the trick. By these two alone will you arrive at the truth. No nididhyasanam is necessary. But even if Shravanam and Mananam are there, and you know the true Vastu as Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Brahma, and that you are that Brahman, there may still be obstacles. Someone will say, I see very clearly that I am Brahman, but have no experience of it. It is not that you do not experience Brahman. In fact, you are Brahman. It is because of you that all experiences take place. Yet some say, I want to experience Brahman. I don't feel Brahman. I ask you, how are you going to feel Brahman? All feelings are Brahman, all thoughts are Brahman, all experiences are Brahman. Brahman is a matter for understanding. It is not a matter for experience or feeling. When a person says that they want to experience Brahman, it means that there is still some kind of feeling inside. A feeling that is opposed to the knowledge, an opposite feeling. That opposite feeling is the feeling of sorrow, loneliness, depression, varieties of things. All the problems are only psychological. So we have taken care of the intellectual problem by Shravanam and Mananam, but this emotional problem is still there. Everyone has to live with their emotions every day. Daily you have to face the world and you respond to the world from the emotional mind. The immediate response is always purely from the emotional mind because Brahman does not respond to anything. Therefore all responses are from emotions and emotions seem to have their own being. This is an old problem. It is called Viparita Bhavana, an opposite feeling. It is not that you have to experience Brahman, rather that there is something which obstructs your vision. Your understanding seems to be clouded. It is not clear because of your own emotions. Next section, removing all obstacles. If your understanding itself is doubtful, or if there is understanding but it has some pratibandhaka, obstacle, then you have to remove that obstacle, the Viparita Bhavana. The Atma is Brahman. Atma is not the Deha, body, and yet the Atma is taken to be the Deha. Why? Because you have to live with the Deha. In fact, you have to live with two Dehas, namely the Sthula Deha, also called Sthula Sharira, gross body, and the Sukshma Deha, also called Sukshma Sharira, the subtle body. The term Sukshma includes your Asanaya and Pipasa, hunger and thirst, Ashanaya and Pipasa, hunger and thirst, Prana, good and bad health, etc. It also includes the mind and its moods. The Stula Dheya means physical pain and the like. All these do not disappear even if you have knowledge, and therefore you live with them. When you live with them, you have to identify with them. Unless you identify with the body, you cannot get up. That is why you do not get up in deep sleep, because there is no identification with the body at that time. You may argue, Swamiji, some people do get up, but they do not get up in deep sleep. They get up in dream. They are called somnambulists, sleepwalkers. Something happens and the person comes to the physical body and walks all around. He is called Ubhayataha Prajna. Ubhayataha Prajna. So there is a footnote here. This is from the Mandukya Upanishad, Mantra 7. Nanta Prajnyan na Bahish Prajnam no bhayetaf Prajnyan na Prajnadhanam na Prajna na Prajnam. The Shastra recognizes that kind of somnambulism. It is another type of reality, a reality between Pratibhasika, subjective reality, and Vyavaharika, objective reality. So, as long as you are alive, you have to identify with the body. Identification with the body does not mean that there is an aham buddhi, the I notion in the body. The body becomes, quote, I then, which is okay. The I sense is also present in the mind. Without the ahankara, your ego, you cannot see that I am the drishta, seer, and the manta, thinker. It is true for it is true for a jivan mukta as it is true for anybody. The problem is when the quote unquote I is also the body. For a jnani, the I is not the body. Therefore, I is not judged based upon the body, mind, and so on. But if the obstacle is there, you judge yourself. Pain is there because I is being taken as only the mind or body. So in spite of Shravanam and Mananam, there is Viparita Bhavana. How are you going to eliminate this Viparita Bhavana, opposite feeling? Next section. Give up wrong notions. Deheham mati rujyatam. May you give up this idea that I am the body. The author says now that you have done enough Shravanam and Mananam, you should do Nididhyasanam in order to eliminate the Viparita Bhavana. Nididhyasanam is seeing that while the body is me, I am not the body. The mind is me, but I am not mind. there is no other nididhyasanam. Therefore, nididhyasanam means that you should solve the problem where the problem is. The problem is between aham and deha, namely deheham matihi, the idea that I, the self, is the body. Ujyatam, may you give up this idea, this notion. How do you give it up? Brahmaivasmi vibhavyatam, by appreciating that you are Brahman. So in the Sanskrit, Brahma eva aham asmi iti vibhavyatam. May you contemplate on this properly. But what does properly mean? Atma is not available for contemplation. How are you going to contemplate that you are Brahman? Here you require an alambana, support, in the form of some words. By repeating I am Brahman, will you understand the truth? What is Brahman? What does it mean? So you have to use words to understand Brahman. Reality, all existence, all knowledge, fullness, purity, intelligence, unqualified wholeness, all that is here, the source of the entire universe, the basis of everything, the witness of all. So all these are words which are basically alambana, support. And in Sanskrit, Satyam, Anantam Satyam, Anantam Jnanam, Purnam, Shuddham, Buddham, Muktam Brahma, Idam Sarvam Jagat Karanam, Sarvasya Adhishthanam, Sarvasakshi. There are two things involved in this contemplation, the Lakshana and the Lakshya. These words are all Lakshanas, implied meanings. You have to see the Lakshya, that which is implied. By repeating the Lakshana of Brahman, you get to the Lakshya. This is Bhagatyaga Lakshana. For every Lakshana, you have to give up the general meaning and go for the implied meaning, which is you. So there's some kind of a beginning, namely Dhyayati Iva, you are as though contemplating. Dhyayati Iva is because there is only a beginning, there is no end here. The end is yourself, meaning you bring up the word and suddenly you find this is me. It is very clear and there is no ignorance with reference to that. This kind of nididhyasanam is repeated again and again, aharahar, daily. In other words, nitya, always. Aharahar garvav parityajyatam. May you give up the I notion. This is because you cannot retain the ahankara and then say I am Brahman. That is dangerous. Garvaha means ahankara. Ahankara is the source of pain. Without aham, there is no pain at all. Pain is the problem here. That pain is always there because it has its own root. And the pain does not come without involving the I. The I happens to be free from any guilt or hurt because it is Param Brahma. Therefore, may you appreciate the nature of Atman as Param Brahma, totally free from guilt and hurt. This does not mean giving up your pride. That is not the point here. One has already done Shravanam and Mananam, so there is no question of pride. The point is that the pain is purely because of the I notion. Without the I notion, there is no pain or guilt at all. Even if the hand has slapped a person who is to be respected, the hand does not feel guilty. The owner of the hand may feel so guilty afterwards that he wants to cut off the hand, but the hand itself does not have that feeling. Neither the hand nor mind have guilt. Only the I thought has guilt. And therefore, garvaha parityajyatam, may the pain, which is the viparita bhavana, making it appear as though you are subject to guilt and hurt, be given up by constant appreciation of the fact, I am Brahman. Aharahar daily can also be taken along with the phrase Brahmaivasmi vibhavyatam, appreciation of oneself as Brahman. This usage is based upon Dehali Deepa Nyaya, the analogy of the lamp on the threshold. So Dehali is threshold, Deepa is lamp. So Dehali Deepa Nyaya, the analogy of the lamp on the threshold. When a lamp is placed on a threshold, its light shines on both sides. Similarly, the word aharahar is in the middle of the line, so it can be taken as Brahmaivasmi aharahar vibhavyatam, may you contemplate daily, or can also be understood to mean that whenever the ahankara comes, let it be taken care of, namely aharaha garva parityajyata. Next section. Perception may be limited but still valid. Ahankara will come because of pain itself. Because at the time when you got hurt or felt guilty, the I that you knew was that I, namely the I sense associated with hurt or guilt. Thus your memory has taken the I and the pain to be the one and the same. They are identical and that remains as only memory. That memory is vyavaharika, empirically real, even though your perception may be wrong. That is the problem. In fact, a child's perception is always wrong because the child does not have any data. But still its perception is valid. Validity is a different matter. A child cannot but perceive more than what it perceives. It does not mean it is right. That is why the parents must be very careful. The child's perception is valid. Given the background of a child, it cannot see anything more. But if now as an adult you go and tell your father, I thought you didn't love me, your father will say, what are you talking about? That's silly. I've always loved you. And he means it. Therefore he is right. Mother is also right. Everybody is right. So this means the child is wrong again. In fact, the child is wrong only in the sense that its perception is very limited, as it does not have any evidence to prove my father and mother care for me. It looks for certain overt things and those things are absent. A child cannot divine the emotions of people. Thus the child's perception is valid but not totally true. The I was very much involved in those perceptions, therefore it becomes an empirically true memory. Even though the perception was wrong, it has become the person's empirical reality. That is why there is confusion. You may say it is all your subjectivity. Still it does not go away. That is because it is not purely subjective. It has its own parallel reality. Cognitively you know, I am Brahman. I am more than convinced. I have no ignorance. But this other feeling based on memory is still there and it becomes an obstacle to your own knowledge. That has to be taken care of. The role of contemplation. It is for removing that obstruction alone that you spend time in nididhyasanam. Thus, contemplation is unavoidable. You have to spend some time in contemplation. If you ask, Swamiji, how long must I contemplate? My reply will be, another 3 lives minimum. Because if contemplation is such a painful thing that you have to ask me such a question, then you have a long way to go. If I were to ask you to pull weeds and clean the whole yard and you ask me, how long should I do this? That would be okay. Pulling weeds is a painful job. Here, however, contemplation is not a painful thing. Why did I say 3 lives? Because in the Gita, Lord Krishna says, Bahuna Janmana Mante. So this is a well-known verse in the Gita, Bhagavad Gita, which is in chapter 7, verse number 19. Bahuna Janmana Mante Jnanavan Mam Prapadyate Vasudeva Sarvamiti Samahatma Sudurlabha. And the complete meaning is, at the end of many births, the one who has gained the knowledge, Vasudeva is everything, Vasudeva Sarvamiti, reaches me. That person is very rare, Sudurlabha. So the footnote says, Bahuna Janmana Mante Jnanavan Mam Prapadyate. At the end of many births, he reaches me. The plural form of Janma is used in this verse. In Sanskrit, the plural form is used only for 3 or more things. There is no time involved for contemplation. This contemplation is not on, I am useless. You do not require to contemplate this. The whole world helps you know this. There is a good support system. Therefore, the contemplation is only, I am Ananda, complete. You contemplate Purnoham, I am fullness. What is that Purna? Is it something like honey on which the mind lands and gets stuck like a fly? No. Contemplation is seeing the implied meaning of the words very clearly, which itself is a pleasant job. It is just one practice which is a pleasure, the subject matter being what it is. Therefore, the author says here, Nityam vibhavyatam aharhar garvav parityajyatam deheham mati rujyatam. May you daily not come under the sway of the ego, giving up the notion that I am the body. Then the author gives some important advice. Buddha janair vadav parityajyatam. May you completely cease from entering into arguments with wise people. This relates back to dustarkat suviramyatam, giving up wrong logic, which appeared early in the verse. It has nothing to do with nididhyasanam. It refers to one's behavior after nididhyasanam is done. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.